Good morning, beloveds. All right, the cat shifted the curtain. Let me see. Okay. She's over there in the window. I don't know if you could see her. Yeah, there she is. So she shifted the curtain. So the light's a little different. All right. The weather's a little weird. It's just hot down here. But I would ask you to put on your prayer list basically the Midwest. The middle of the country, the weather is just weird, and I know Colorado's had a bunch of windstorms and snowstorms, and I've seen two of our members who now live, one who moved back to Colorado and one who moved out to, I think, Arizona, where they lost power and it's cold, and so y'all have a good thought for them, a little treatment there, so that they can continue to keep when their power, because inevitably the power is going to blink. It just happens. It's that time of year, but that it blinks, that it doesn't stay off for long, because it gets very, very cold very fast up there. So, all right, it is December 16th. Our title is New Ideas Are Mine This Day. Our quote is, "But there is spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding." And that is Job 32:8. Inspiration is the act of the infinite through humanity. I now open my whole consciousness to it. I let God give me the idea I need to handle the question of today. From early morning until late at night, I am directed to right action through God's mind, which indwells me. Forever abiding in God's mind, I cannot fail through God's mind, which indwells me. Forever abiding in God's love, I cannot fail but understand my fellow human, my fellow being. I look out upon a wonderful world alive with more good than I ever supposed. Every contact today is a blessing to me, and to everyone I bring a larger peace and a greater joy. Filled with the freshness of mind, I give new impressions to my everyday tasks. I refuse to believe that I shall meet problems. I see these as tests of my ability to inaugurate a new idea born of God. Each moment brings me the chance to live as a spiritual being of integrity. The idea I need at this moment of this day, I shall have. God meets me in the hour, the moment, and the instant of my need. God's inspiration is my security to handle all things rightly and all things lovingly. What I see as a problem, God sees as an opportunity to release God's intelligence. Knowing this, I am confident and serene. Neither a person nor a situation can confound me. I silently turn within and find the spiritual answer. I welcome new ideas, for they mean a greater good for me. They press upon me. They draw nigh unto me. God's knowledge is available to me now, and I let it be in me a vital source of ideas. Wisdom is mine to use, and I use it. I cannot make a mistake today, for God's omniscient mind is my mind now. We are one, and in this oneness, I am led to right answers. Immediate right guidance is mine. I do not need to beseech. I only need to know that God in me is all in all. Rejoicing in this perfect supply of inspiration, I cannot fail. Where I am at every moment, God's mind is. This is my security. This is my peace. Conclusions born of God make easy my way. I am receptive to God's ideas. All right. So yesterday we were talking about picking our attitude. It's like, let's get up and pick our attitude. And so today it's kind of the same thing. It's like, when we face, and I'm going to use the word problems, when we face problems, if we think of them like problems, then they're going to continue to be problems. But if we think about them as maybe challenges, depending on how you feel about the word challenges, or maybe opportunities, then it changes our attitude towards the problem. And it also changes our attitude to about how to go about it. Challenges are exciting. Opportunities are exciting. So why not view a problem as a challenge or an opportunity? And then already you have changed your attitude towards, and you have started working towards solutions. We've talked about this before, because in Science of Mind, one of the things that we really want to do is we want to focus on solutions, not problems, because we don't want more problems, we want solutions. And so that's what we want to focus on. And in here, it's reminding us that the mind that we're using is God's mind, and that God's mind is open to us all the time, because that's what we're made in. You know, we're made in God's mind. We use God's mind. Our mind is God's mind. We have access to everything that God is. Now, sometimes we have to, there's a lot. I mean, it's infinite, which is beyond our capability to even think about. And so, and we can't access all of it at the same time. We have to access it. So we have to trust that when we access that mind, that what we need is going to come to us. Because us finding it, well, that's an interesting idea. But we trust that when we access God's mind in this attitude of what I need will come to me, and in the idea of it, the excitement of a challenge, the excitement of, and I say excitement because we all know what excitement feels like. And that's a feeling that spirit can grasp onto, is excitement, is gratitude, strong feelings. Which is why when we think about problems and we're about them, you know, we have strong feelings about them. Then mind goes, oh, well, you have strong feelings about that. Let's give you more of that, because spirit doesn't know the difference between positive and negative emotions. So we want to be careful about that. But we have access to everything. It's like, let me remind you whose mind you're using. Whose mind are you using? So, December 16th, new ideas are mine this day. And from Job, there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. The spirit within us, the spirit that animates us, the spirit that is us, well, that's God. That's the Almighty. That is, you know, whatever you want to call it. And so through that, anything's possible. So that's Job 32:8. So inspiration is the act of the infinite through humanity. All right. I now open my whole consciousness to it. I let God give me the idea I need to handle the questions of today. I let God, which means that I can go, all right, this is what's going on today. What do I need to do about it? And God will answer. That is our faith. From early morning until late at night, I am directed to right action through God's mind, which indwells me. All right, so the same mind that I'm using all the time is God's mind. Always. That's the mind within me. So, forever abiding in God's mind, I cannot fail through God's mind, which indwells me. So, twice in a row, he's reminding you the mind that you're using is God's mind. Forever abiding in God's love, I cannot fail but to understand my fellow being, because I'm using the love of God. I'm using the love of God, not human love, not the idea of, because there's 7 or 8 different kinds of love. Go back and look at the Greek idea of love. But divine love. I look out upon a wonderful world alive with more good than I ever supposed. Because when we look with God's idea, with God's love, then we see more. We see more. Every contact today is a blessing to me, and to everyone I bring a larger peace and a greater joy, because that's what I want to do. I want to be a source of peace, a space of peace, a source of joy, a space of joy. So when you come into my influence, this is what I want you to feel from me. I want the peace of God and the peace and the joy of God to flow through me. Am I 100%? No. I'm human. I have my moments, but it's what I work on. That's what I work on. That's the sense of me that I cultivate, that when you encounter me, I hope to be peaceful. I hope to be joyful. I hope to be happy. I hope to be creative. Because I actively work on it. Filled with the freshness of mind, I give new impressions to my everyday tasks. And tackling them in peace and joy, that's a good way to do that. I refuse to believe that I shall meet problems. I refuse to see them as problems. I see these as tests of my ability to inaugurate the new idea born of God. So when I come up against a problem, I'm going to go, well, where do I turn? The first place I turn is to God. To God. And then I listen to that guidance to whatever it is that I'm going to get up to. Each moment brings me the chance to live as a spiritual being of integrity. The idea I need at this moment of this day, I shall have. That's about faith. Trust plus imagination. I know that the answer is there. I imagine that the answer is there, and I trust that the answer is there. That's what faith is. God meets me in the hour, the moment, and the instant of my need. God's inspiration is my security to handle all things rightly and all things lovingly. God's inspiration. That's my security. And with that inspiration, I know that I can handle anything that comes across me. Because God's inspiration sometimes will present me with a solution. And sometimes God's inspiration will present me with a person, or several people, or a group of people. You know, it doesn't mean I have to handle it on my own. Because God's inspiration will bring me to, or bring them to me. Either way. But it's also my openness and willingness to listen. When I see a problem, God sees an opportunity to release God's intelligence. So that's that flip. That's that psychological flip of reframing a problem as a challenge, a problem as an opportunity, and something that has a solution. And then allowing that inspiration to come through. We got to know that solution exists. Knowing this, I am confident and serene. Neither a person nor a situation can confound me. I silently turn within and find the spiritual answer. All right. So I welcome new ideas, for they mean a greater good for me. Because any good that I do for the world is a greater good for me. And any good that I do for me is generally a greater good for the world. If I become a happier, more secure, more loving person, then that's good for the world. So keep that in mind. Working on yourself is good for the world. It is absolutely good for the world. They press upon me. They draw nigh unto me. God's knowledge is available to me now, and I let it be in me a vital source of ideas. Wisdom is mine to use, and I use it. We have access to all of God's wisdom all the time. The question is, do we actually use it? I cannot make a mistake today, for God's omniscient mind is my mind now. That's one of those statements where it's like, all right, I know that I'm walking into something and I need to do this right. I need to do this well. Well, here, this is the statement that I'm going to use. I do not need, It's my mind now. We are one, and in this oneness, I am led to the right answers, which can be, they can come out of nowhere. Like I already have all the information and the right answer just pops out. Or that I lay my hands on the book that I need, or that the person that I need walks in to give me the information that I need. It's going to come. It's going to be there. Immediate right guidance is mine. I do not need to beseech. I only need to know that God in me is all in all. It's kind of a strange sentence structure there. I do not need to beseech. We don't need to beg. We don't need to beg. We need to state. Rejoicing in this perfect supply of inspiration, I cannot fail. Where I am at every moment, God's mind is. This is my security. This is my peace. Conclusions born of God make easy my way. I am receptive to God's idea. You want to know what the mission today is? That's it. The mission today is to be receptive. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to be receptive to God's idea. But it's also to see problems as opportunities, to see problems as challenges, to know that the mind that we are using is God's mind, and that the solutions will present themselves. And our goal and our job and our mission is to be open to the infinite variety of ways that those solutions can present themselves. All right? That's the mission. Because God has an infinite way of bringing solutions to us, of bringing inspiration to us. And it's ways that we might not think about. In fact, generally we don't. That's that thing about infinite. So it is about being open to God's mind, open to God's inspiration. All right, beloveds, and to have faith that it's there. I'm also going to encourage you, as I always do, to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like. Whatever it looks like. Oh, I think I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to try and get through this before I do, because the weather doing this is not helping my allergies at all. So, do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself every day. Every day. If you do it every day, you are creating that habit. And that is what I am after. I am after that habit of loving, kind, and compassionate for yourself, to make that your first response, no matter what happens. So that when you come across these problems, these challenges, these opportunities, that your first response is, oh wait, God's mind. I can use God's mind. And through God, these amazing inspirations, these amazing solutions will come to me, and they will come to me in an infinite variety of ways. If our first response is love, is kindness, is compassion for ourselves, then it can be for everyone else as well. I want it to become your first response, your default setting. Because you are a beloved child of God. You deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. And as you practice on yourself, so you can practice on others. All right, beloveds. I also encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body today, to go get a face full of sun this morning. There was a little bit of sun this morning. It was good. The clouds are... we're having weather. But it's that time of year. We have weather. Although, like I said, keep the middle of the country in your treatments, in your prayers, in your knowing of good things. So go get that face full of sun, drink plenty of water, and whatever else you do, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It is all around us. It is literally about looking for the good. You heard it in the reading today. There's more good than we ever supposed. So let's look for it. Because when we look for it, we find it. And when we find it, it multiplies. And that's the amazing thing about good. It is. Just the very act of looking for it creates it. All right, beloveds. It's Thursday. There's a prayer circle tonight and a book study tonight. I think the book study starts at 6:30, and I think the prayer circle is at 7, whichever one you need. Email info@creativelife.org. Get on that mailing list. That'll get you the links. The book studies are done on Zoom. The prayer circle, which is run by a couple of very good practitioners, is done by Telebridge, which is conferencing, phone calls. So you don't have to worry about, showing up in your PJs. And check us on the social medias. But I encourage you to have an amazing day, a wonderful day, a great day, a fantastic day, an enchanting day, a stunning day, an inspirational day, an opportunity day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. All right, beloveds, take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And Reverend David should be on Facebook Live around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you at 9 a.m. And take a deep breath. Know that you're loved. And I'll see you next time.